What's good, y'all? My name is Rorvis Paradox, aka Docs Brando. I'd like to welcome you all to another episode of Rorvis Reviews. With Alien Ramis about to come out this weekend, I decided to go back and review Aliens and Aliens. So these are two impactful movies to the film industry, and it's only right that I get to talk about them before I get to experience the next chapter in the franchise. Make sure you're helping out with the 500 subscriber goal. Pass this link, pass this channel to anybody and everyone you know that be interested in this type of content, because the better you help me, help you, help me, help you, help us. You know what I'm saying? So please do your due diligence. And if you want to make a donation, my Cash App is in the bio. With all that being said, let's get into it. Now, the first film I want to talk about is 1979's Alien, directed by Ridley Scott. Now, this film, I can only imagine how the people of 1979 thought about this film, because even to the today's standard, this film is insanely good. This is an all-time classic. This is an industry shifter type of film. This film is about this crew that's basically just like space truckers. So they have their cargo and they're in space, and they're just in they're frozen in suspension, hibernation to, stay rejuvenated, things of that nature. So as they're in hibernation, the ship's AI gets a beacon, gets a signal, and they all wake up. It makes them all wake up, and based off the reports, based off the policy of the company they work for, if they get any type of signal of this nature, they have to go check out and see if they can help things like that. So they go to this desolate planet that just looks sketchy off rip, and it's already bad just trying to land their ship onto this planet. They get to this planet, and three of them go outside to explore, just to figure things out. One of them being Kane, Lambert, and Dallas. Now, these three people are exploring the planet, and then they find a ship there, a very uniquely horseshoe-shaped ship. And then they explore and get on board. And this is where they see this old, gigantic alien in this sitting position. And they checking him out, and they're trying to figure out what happened to him. And this is where they see that there's an opening in his chest, but they don't know what that was caused from. It looked like it came in from in out. So they keep exploring, and this is where Kane finds a hole in the ship, and they go further down, and then this is where they see all these different alien eggs around, and he's just trying to figure out what they're about, and he kind of slips and falls and lands near one of the eggs. The egg starts to open up, and you're just wondering what's going on. It leaps out, attaches itself to his face, and now they bring him back to the ship. He's incapacitated, but there's this thing lashed onto him. And Ripley, one of our characters, is saying it's against policy to bring him back onto our ship, because you can get us fucked up if you bring him on. It could be contagious. We don't know what it is. And another character named Ash disobeys that policy and allows them onto the ship, and they try to see if they could detach it from Kane, but it turns out that this creature has acidic blood, and just one drop of it almost went through the whole hull. So now they're just trying to figure out what can they do to preserve the life of Kane. And this is all I want to say about the film. I know it's an older film, but still some people might not have seen this classic. So this is all I'm going to say, just to maintain from spoilers. Now we're going to get into the highlights. And number one, easily, is cinematography. Just how this film is shot is excellent. I think there's a lot of great POV shots, over the head shots. I think there's a lot of tricks that it does to hide the creature within the shadows, using great camera angles. Just phenomenal work from Ridley Scott. Another thing is the iconic scene. Everyone knows what I'm referring to. We've seen the movie or what the scene is. I don't want to say for spoilers, for the other people, but that scene right there is spectacular. Absolutely shocking even to today. The next thing I want to get into is the set design and creature design from H.R. Giger. His artwork is very unique in a sense. He goes for this biomechanical look as well as very sexual innuendos and matters, things of that nature. And he brought all that type of talent to designing the xenomorph. Ridley Scott and his writer both found out about H.R. Giger's work and almost immediately knew he would be the one to help bring the creature they have in their head to life. And he took some time with it and was able to craft one of the most iconic monsters in film history. Giger's work was just very excellent, executed and done so stupendously. It's just still shocking to this day that this is something that was done in 1979. Now, I also have to give props to the set design. I think just the feel and look of the ship adds so much layer to it. Like it's its own character because our characters are trapped in these confined spaces with a very dangerous species that they don't know about. This creature is unknown and it's able to pick them off one by one with ease. So you add the look of the ship, and a lot of the ship's interior kind of looks like the alien. So sometimes your mind is playing tricks with you, like, is that the alien on camera? Is it not? You can't really tell. And I think that goes to how well the set is created to encapsulate the horror and the tension and the anxiety going on to this group of people that we really feel bad for. We get to genuinely just experience this horror with them, and I think the set just helps. It's the layer for them to dunk. Now, lastly, I have to speak about the cast. This small group had one job and one job only, and they executed it to perfection. Starting off, I have to give the nod to who will become the star of the franchise, Sigourney Weaver as Ellen Ripley. If you're really paying attention to the movie, you don't know that she's the main character. You don't know it's her that we're really rooting for until midway in the movie. Like right after Kane gets face hugged, you start to realize that like she's our girl. She's our badass good girl. And Sigourney Weaver may be, I've been thinking about this all week. She may be the greatest final girl, greatest good girl to root for in all film. Like she really holds it down for the crew. And even in this performance for as Ripley is going through so much different emotional stresses, so much tension in the room, and you have this creature that you're dealing with, and now you don't know who to trust. She was able to perform all these emotions so well as Ripley, so I have to give Sigourney Weaver a complete salute. She was excellent and phenomenal in this film. To go on to the next cast member, Tom Skerritt as Dallas. Definitely, it was a trick that the Ridley Scott did with him. You would think he's like the one. He's the good guy that's gonna save the day, and when something happens to him, it's like, no, that was a trick. He's not our guy. Our guy is actually a girl that's gonna save the day, or at least survive. John Hurt as Kane, even though his role was short, he definitely had a great feel for his character, and his part in that iconic scene will never be forgotten. That's some acting for you, boy. Veronica Cartwright as Lambert, not too much for her role, but definitely did a great job of the character who's saying everything a lot of the audience is feeling and is the most terrified in the room, and she encapsulate that fear to the highest degree. Like I felt what girl was feeling. It's very terrifying to be in confined space and you've seen people getting picked off. Then you have Yaphet Kotto as Parker, somewhat of a comedic role, but also does a great job of trying to be a macho role. and trying just to fend off from this creature that is dealing like just terrorizing the whole group. Harry Dean Stanton as Brett, another one of those tries to be a comedic role, doesn't really do too much, but as the one of the first people to get whacked in the movie, I think that's always going to be memorable to me, as well as just a few of the little innuendo, little like parts his character does. And lastly, I want to nod my hat to Ian Holm as Ash, the ship's science officer. A lot of Ian does he got to do something special in this film, and the way I can't even say it, he does his character of Ash. He's one of the best performances in this film. It goes Sigourney Weaver, then it goes Ash. Sigourney Weaver, then it goes Ian Holm. Both of these people, are so vital to the film and how they perform each character. Stupendous. I want to really nod to all of them because the chemistry they try on camera, you can see that this crew that's working together in space are genuinely friends. Like, they really care for each other, make jokes, complain about work. They feel like real people, and the interactions felt very genuine. So I want to give everyone a cast a nod because of how these interactions happen. And because these interactions happen, when they start getting killed off, it feels that much worse. So again, the cast did an excellent job. Lastly, I want to give a huge nod to Balaji Badejo. You may not be familiar with his name, but he's the actor who played the alien. Now, he's not the only one to be in the suit, but he does a lot of the main work. And for someone that's 6'10", slender build, to be the person donning this iconic creature, I think he did an excellent job. He took this role very seriously, going to different classes to figure out how to make the alien move in a very malicious way, a very, just to give you the creeps of how it's just like, he did a great job in this role. And I think without him, you probably the film was already kind of like, everything was laid out for it to be great, but his performance as the alien was well needed for this film to really be a success because of how he's moving, how everything is going. It brought more fear and attention from audiences around the world who are always going to remember what he did for this film. All in all, this film is getting 5 stars easily. Probably, I don't know where to rank it right now, just because I'm feeling very high off of my rewatch, but this is definitely one of my favorite movies. It might make my all-time list. That's what I'm trying to say. This is a very excellent, well executed film, and I highly recommend if you haven't seen it already, and if you have, rewatch it because you need to. Now, the next film we're going to be talking about is the epic sequel to Aliens from 1986, directed by James Cameron. Now, James Cameron, we don't really have to talk too much about his catalog in film. So we already know he's attached to a lot of greatness, but early in his career, this is about the second film he created that was major. This is right after, a few years after Terminator, so he's already coming off a huge home run. So to get to this sequel of an already well-regarded film at the time is a lot on his plate, and in my opinion, in a lot of people's opinion, he he killed another one. This is a great film. This is another all-time classic. Now, in my personal opinion, I do like the first film more, but I'll get more to that towards my closing statements. But this film was definitely excellent from James Cameron. Now, how this film is going is, it starts off with our survivor, Ripley, out just floating in space in frozen animation, and is recovered by some people. They find her, and they bring her back to life. They help her get healthy again. And this is where we find out that it's been 57 years since the incident that we just experienced in Alien. So she's already kind of distraught about how much time has gone by in her life and how many things she's missed. Then you find out that they're the company, uh, Wayland Utani Corporation, is trying to charge her for the destruction of their property and all the money they lost in the shipments, yada yada yada. And she's like, bro, I just went through hell and I lost my whole crew over some bullshit. And y'all are mad? Y'all mad? And y'all the ones that really set me up to go through that? She was hot. And that's when she also finds out that the planet they originally went on, where the alien egg was located, she says, y'all haven't gone back there, right? And they said, what do you mean? Since 20 years ago, we changed up the planet and make it like have a little city there with people there. And she's like, what? And now she's pissed off, but she's off in her own space trying to figure out what's next in her life. And that's when our character Burke comes in and says, hey, you remember when you said that the planet was dangerous and a lot of bad things happen at that planet? Well, we need you to come with us, like just tell us some things, because we've lost contact with the people on the planet, and it's like 100 something folks there. Just if everything you were saying in that meeting is true, it could probably be bad, so we might need your help. We're gonna send a team there to handle things, but we need your help. And she's like, I told you. But then she's very reluctant to go because she's still waking up in cold sweats, having nightmares about everything she's lived. But she finally tells Burke, yeah, I'll go. But if I go, we killing them all, right? We ain't trying to bring back no specimens, no nothing. We're destroying everything, right? It's like, yeah, absolutely, for sure. Right, yeah. So, this is where we get to meet this group of Marines who are all trying to be the most badass motherfucker as possible. Some of them work, some of them do not. But we enjoy this group because there's a lot of energy, a lot of character from this group. And she tries to explain to them what they're dealing with, but they're not really taking it serious because they're like, it's just a bug. We gonna whack them. Everything gonna be smooth. Everything gonna be all right. They about to find out shit is not sweet. And this is where they get to the planet and literally just desolate. Everything just looks empty. It looks like a ghost town. And they get to where the last stand was held out for the people. And they've seen some signs that everything Ripley was saying is true. And this is where, they find the last survivor, a little girl whose name is Newt. And she builds a relationship with Ripley. And Ripley, is just trying to do her best to protect this young girl because, who wants a little kid injured or anything going on with these horrific creatures? But, they sent families here anyway. So, some kids died. So, don't think about it too much. This movie will get more depressing. But that's all I really want to say about the film. I'm just trying to lay it out for y'all. If you haven't seen this film already, definitely check it out. Highly recommend. And I'm about to get directly into highlights. And what I like about this film off rip is that we just came off of Alien, and that film was very horror based. Like a lot of the things that it took, the things it did in that film were very kind of slasher based in theory, right? A lot of how they use the alien hiding in the shadows, some of the jump scares, things of that nature. And there was already a lot of anxiety and nerve-wrackingness from that. How can you amp that? Well, James Cameron thought, I'm just gonna go in a different direction, and instead of trying to remake that, I'm gonna make it even worse by adding a bazillion more aliens and just like make them like just you get to really see them in action. And I think that was such a bold move, but it definitely was the best decision, and that's why we get a film of this nature, because these films, Alien and Alien, are very different, but with this film it still has something. It still just makes you nervous and gives you anxiety, gives you all this tension, because now the stakes are even higher. Like in one case you're trapped with one, and the other one you're just like enclosed by many. So that right there is just magnificent. I don't really got to tell y'all again that the Xenomorph is really one of the greatest monster designs ever, but it was really excellent. was how they upped that ante with the creation of the alien queen. Now, this is some of them. I don't know what. Easily the classic xenomorph is the better, like the more iconic. But like when I think the alien queen, it's just elegantly horrific. And like this is just something, just like you really look at the intricacies of how it's designed, and you're amazed about how it looks, but you're also horrified that you're amazed by this grotesque being. And everything about you like about the xenomorph is multiplied in the alien queen. The big ass head, the small mouth, just like the limbs, everything is just amped to 100. And I love this design. I love the ideal of it, you know, and that helps expand upon the lore of these creatures as well. um, I want to again give my nod to the cast, and that starts off with Sigourney Weaver. She went from, fire. She's still a badass final girl. She's the greatest good girl to ever be, but she's amped it up more, being able to use a lot of these great weapons, and taking charge in a lot of these scenes. And if it's not for her, we wouldn't be seeing some of these action sequences. So gotta give my nod to her. And again, another great role is showing the levels to her acting ability in Ripley. Another one is Mike Bain as Hicks. Just definitely a good guy who's just trying to do his best with the circumstances provided to him. And when you become the first in command after your two leaders get whacked off by these creatures in very quick fashion, is a lot of tension, a lot of emotional distress that could be thrust upon you. And the way Bean was able to portray that Hicks was well done. And I think the chemistry between him and Sigourney and their characters was well done for the screen. Now, Paul Reiser as Burke, this fucking slime ball, he nailed that role. I don't know, he feels like a real slime ball, the real company man, the real nigga that stabbed you in the back for your dollar, bro. I hate him, but I loved his role. The next person I want to talk about is Carrie Hain as Newt. For a child actor, that a lot of people don't expect too much from them in certain roles, but she nailed a lot of the distress and chaos to be the last one in your family, the last one in your city alive, when these demonic looking creatures are running rampant, and you're able to last about 17 days on your own. And she put a lot of that emotion into that character. And the makeup team did an excellent job of making her even look more distressed by having her look covered in dirt and all that. But Carrie did an excellent job in this role, and I think she's definitely one of the breakout stars in the film. When you think aliens, you're always going to think of Newt, as well as you're going to think about Ripley. So definitely excellent. Bill Paxton as Hudson, kind of like a fun character, but like when he's in distress, he gets one of the most iconic lines out that I forgot came from this movie, and it's game over, man, game over. That right there, I completely forgot this came from this film, and he was just excellent in his role. Now, there's some other people that played their role there well in this film, but like they're not too major. But I do want to nod to Jeanette Goldstein as Vasquez. Vasquez was badass good girl number 2 in the film, right alongside Ripley. She's trying to be even more macho than the guys in this film. So I tip my nod to her, because just the look of her and how she portrayed her character is always going to stick to mind to me. So I have to give my salute to her. And then I definitely want to talk about the great use of practical effects and the use of miniatures in both this film and in Alien. Love both of them. Sorry, I had to double back for that. But all in all, this film, I'm giving 4.5 stars. Just little minor differences that I gotta knock it a bit comparing it to Alien, but this is still a very well done film, and Again, another one of those game changers in the film industry. 4.5 stars. Now, like I was saying during this video, that I do prefer Alien over Aliens. I think it's just a better overall film just by a hair, you know. Me with the xenomorph, I love seeing them. I love the blood and destruction they cause, and I'm a huge fan of the second mouth kill that they have done over these last 40 something years, and I feel that there's a little bit of a lack of that in Aliens. I don't know if there's like, you know, a skill issue with the special effects team, but that's neither here nor there. I love those so much, and to not have that many in there just knocked it a little bit. So I go Aliens. Not that bad for two well done films of all time, you know, easily. Now, I have to ask, do you agree with what I said about these films? You know, do you prefer Aliens over Alien? Do you think these movies are overrated? Or do you also think these are some of the most impactful movies to culture in general? Please let me know in the comments below. This has been Rorvis Reviews. I am Rorvis Paradox, aka Dox Brando. I'll see you again next time. And if you want me to watch Romulus, just say so. Peace.